Actinium was formed to harness the power of radiation, specifically the alpha isotope actinium, and that's how we get our name. The company, in its early days, developed methods of production, methods of harnessing the power of this by linking it to antibodies, and thinking through many of the scientific issues that were involved in being able to effectively target such a potent killing agent for the treatment of cancer. We are scientists, business people, and clinicians that have come together in order to harness the power of radiation to making the lives of cancer patients better. As a result of that, we are agnostic as to which radioisotope. We don't believe that one size fits all. So it can be actinium. We also work with iodine. We work with lutetium, being able to match the right kind of targeting agent with the right kind of isotope to get the best clinical effect.
This is an area that allows us to target radiation directly to tumor cells, rather than using an external beam that hits normal cells as well. Use antibodies against specific proteins on the outside of cancer cells as a way to target the radiation, to bring the radiation right to the cancer cell. And that's critical because we can lower the side effects by targeting the radiation molecularly just to the malignant cells. The CR trial is a randomized trial to show the benefit of using Iomab-B as conditioning prior to transplant in older patients with relapsed or refractory acute myeloid leukemia. We're able to take patients who have been heavily pretreated, who have a very high bulk of disease, and we're able to successfully bring them to transplant using Iomab-B as conditioning prior to the transplant. That's a big deal because we're not able to successfully get those patients to transplant using standard of care methodologies.
It's already evident that the treatment works very well to replace other conditioning regimens we would have relied on in the past. If it proves to be a superior therapy to conventional care, the transplant community will start using the agent more frequently. We found the treatment to be fairly well tolerated. It probably pound for pound a easier treatment to deliver than our regular strong transplant therapies.
We are supporting 30+ hospitals across US and Canada, and we shipped out hundreds of radioactive drugs without missing one single dose. And from the time we pack out the products to the time the hospital receive it, it's usually less than 24 hours.
It is definitely groundbreaking because this is one of the few treatments where we have been able to integrate dosimetry.
Our R&D wet lab operations are actively involved in exploring new programs, both in terms of mechanistic combinations, but also novel and new therapeutic targets for the generation of radioconjugates, particularly in solid tumors. And we're excited to advancing a number of these programs.
Our research focus at Actinium Pharmaceuticals is to develop a very novel radiopharmaceuticals therapeutics for hematologic and solid tumors. To perform all the preclinical work ultimately will lead to treat the disease that otherwise it cannot be done.
Actinium Pharmaceuticals has a technology platform called the AWE platform, which is supported by extensive know-how as well as a robust IP portfolio, which we have developed and continue to develop. For example, we have an active and ongoing collaboration with Astellas. We also look at opportunities to take our radioconjugates into solid tumor space.
One of the other studies that we have underway are efforts to utilize Iomab-B as conditioning prior to CAR T-cell therapies. In the other studies that Actinium has underway, we're utilizing radiolabeled antibodies as treatment for acute myeloid leukemia, and we're doing that in combination with other leukemia drugs and other leukemia treatments. And we think we can broaden the use of these materials substantially.
As we look to the future, we really look forward within our R&D team to really changing the paradigm of how radioisotopes are used in conjunction with other cancer agents, whether it's antibodies or chemotherapy, and really making a huge difference at the end stages of the disease, where we believe we can take a leadership role.